Hey everybody, it's Evan here, and today we have another digital practice update. So we've got a ton of things to talk about today. There's been a lot going on behind the scenes here at Digital Practice, and so today's the day. I'm just gonna throw it all out there and we're gonna see what happens. So the first thing that we've been working on is what we're calling a live model workflow. And this is happening behind the scenes between our design technology and visualization group and myself. And what we're doing is we're developing what we're calling a live model workflow, where basically you've got a design model going on in Rhino, and then through Grasshopper that's talking to Dynamo on the Revit side. So somebody could be working in Revit on laying out the sheets, the drawings, everything that you would need from a presentation standpoint from the views of a model. And then we've got on the other side of that the rendering side, and we're using Unreal Engine to do a real-time model. And the idea is that these things are all connected throughout the process, so nobody has to wait for somebody else to finish before they can begin working. So we've been testing out a few different technologies and tools to get these different apps to talk to each other so that we can have this live model workflow where basically in Rhino you could update a parameter on the facade of the model and completely change the layout, have that update the Revit drawings, and have that model push out into Unreal and update the geometry in the final renderings all at the same time. And here's a couple of videos that kind of highlight some of that interoperability. So we've been successful in getting the model to push from Rhino into Revit, and behind the scenes we're also doing some testing to make sure that those things push all the way through to Unreal. Anyway, it's pretty exciting stuff. Couple teaser videos here just to kind of show you some of the behind the scenes action that's been happening. Other than that, just be on the lookout for future updates on this new workflow process. It's going to be pretty cool once we finally are able to show it off in a presentation later on this year. The next tool that I wanted to highlight is something we've been working on with our healthcare planning group, and the idea is that we want to be able to put a diagrammatic floor plan layout into Grasshopper and have it automatically find the ideal locations for visual supervision. So with healthcare planning, we're always trying to kind of identify where the nursing station should go, maybe in a patient wing of a tower. Or in a school, you might want to throw a library in there and say, where should the circulation desk go so that we have the maximum potential to have supervision over the space. And basically that's what this solver does. It's called a solver because you throw in the constraints, which are going to be all of the obstacles within a boundary, and say, find me the best spots inside this space to locate a point where I get the maximum amount of visual supervision. And that's what it does. So the proof of concept is running here. You can see it solving for the best locations. We've thrown some pretty easy problems at it just again to test this proof of concept, but the overall idea is to come up with a tool that gives you the 1, 2, 3, or 4, or however many visual supervision stations you might want within a space and give you their optimal location. And then you can decide if that's really where you think it should go, or if you feel like there's other reasons why you might want to move it around. But it gives you a great starting point. So if you think this is a tool that is interesting, let us know. Definitely welcome to get your hands on it and play with it and give feedback and tell us what's working, what's not working, and see if it would be an interesting thing for you to deploy on your next project. Next, we've got a new tool for our Architect's Toolbox released called the Parametric Wall from Line tool. The idea here is that it would be fantastic if we could just draw lines and have those automatically turn into walls where we can parametrically adjust the thickness, the height, and we can go back and just edit those simple lines to completely rearrange and change the layout of the walls and not have to worry about brute force modeling this kind of thing. We spend so much time drawing walls in our buildings that we model, so this is a much faster and more flexible approach to getting exactly what we want. You can see through this video that we can parametrically adjust the height, the thickness, and the offset. We've got different tools for interior walls versus exterior walls because of the way that those things offset. You know, typically with interior walls we're going by center line, and with exterior walls we're going to the outer edge of the stud line. So We've tried to build as much smart capability into these tools as we could think of. Go ahead and check these tools out. We'd love to hear your feedback on these. Again, we're just trying to save you a ton of time so that you don't have to brute force model this stuff, and then when it comes time to change things and make things difficult, no. We want that to be as easy as possible. We're really excited about what looks like a really simple tool, but ultimately it's just going to save everybody a ton of time in the conceptual design process. Next up, we've got new in-house Rhino and Grasshopper training courses and workshops that are going to be offered in Southern California and Northern California. If you're interested in learning Rhino and Grasshopper, you can sign up. Just head over to the digital practice group on our intranet and click on the page that says workshops. Check out the course outlines and you can sign up there. Again, we're super excited to be offering this new resource so that we can develop people with these new tools. It's been great so far, and we're looking forward to training as many people who are interested in developing these skills further. Speaking of training, one of the cool new developments that's going on at HMC is we have put out a requisition for a lead tech trainer. And basically what this person's job is going to be is to develop and deploy curriculum for all of the technical software training skills that we're going to offer here at HMC, whether they're design or Revit, Navisworks, Bluebeam, it doesn't matter. The idea is that this person kind of oversees the whole training program and we get people's professional skills elevated. We're going to try to raise everybody up in this endeavor. So it's really exciting that we're doing this, and I encourage you to check out the job position. Tell us if you know somebody who you think would be fantastic at this. Maybe it's you, somebody who really wants to dedicate their time to teaching other people the latest skills. We want to go deeper into all of the tools that we already use. We want to be able to really utilize the fantastic advanced features that are available in these software packages that a lot of times we just kind of skim the surface on. So this is our way to fulfill people's desires to learn a lot more and become more expert users in the software programs. So if you know somebody who knows Rhino and Grasshopper, Revit and Dynamo, Navisworks, Bluebeam, any of the tools that we kind of use on a daily basis to get our jobs done on the design and architecture side, that's the person that we're looking for. So we really want to get that going. So I encourage you guys to check out that job post, and the link to it is below this video. Got a couple more things for you here. The first of which is that we've designed a completely new specifications process. So the new process has really been designed to put the ownership of the specifications on every team member, but also create a single source of truth for where all that specification information lives, which also means that we have fully integrated it now with our Revit model through the eSpecs tool. And what that does is basically allows us to connect the assemblies in our Revit model to the specification documents. Now we also know that there are lots of things we don't model that show up in specs too. So that's another reason why we've redesigned this process completely, so it's a lot more collaborative with our specification writers. And we're doing everything we can to eliminate communication breakdown here. So we've got new spec process, we've got eSpecs integration, so look for a presentation soon if you haven't seen it already on how this new process works, and we're really excited because this is really going to take our specs process to the next level here at HMC. Alright, last thing for this DP update, I want to talk about a cool thing that just happened, just found out about this. My proposal for Accelerate AEC, which is put on by the Building Design and Construction Network, was accepted, and I'm going to be flying to New York City in May to give a TED-style talk on building an innovation culture with digital practice at HMC. Now y'all know HMC is 79 years old, and we have a lot of history, and we've gone through a lot of different ways of doing things here. And we also know that technology is the future of that. So how do you transform a 79-year-old firm into one that has an innovation culture? That's really the idea behind this talk. We're going to be talking about doing it authentically, showing firms what it's like to go through this transformation, because there are lots of firms out there who still have to do this, right? While there's a handful of firms that have already done it successfully and they've been doing it for a long time, we want to show what it's like to actually go through that transformation, because there is no playbook. Technology is changing so fast, And a lot of firms are completely fearful of going through that transition. So while we're going through it, we thought it would be a fantastic way to kind of share the process that we're going through and help all those other firms to help raise the entire profession together. So a little bit more about Accelerate AEC. It's a fantastic way for architects, engineers, contractors, and anybody in building, design, and development to come together. There's 24 talks over 2 days. They really are kind of TED-style talks. They're 15 minutes each. They're about 15 slides, so they're really pointed, interesting talks about the different things that are going on right now in our professions. The speaker lineup at Accelerate AEC is fantastic. They've already announced a bunch of other speakers, and they're going to be announcing more. Some of the notable ones that I'm excited to see: Andrew Human of WeWork, he's talking about the future of computational design in office layouts. Nathan Miller of Proving Ground, which I've talked about on previous digital practice updates. And Randy Deutsch, who's a fantastic resource out there. He teaches, he's associate professor at the Illinois School of Architecture, and he's an author. One of his books, one of which I have right here, called Convergence, The Redesign of Design. This is a fantastic resource for the kinds of things that we're dealing with in digital practice. And he's got a brand new book coming out on Amazon called Super Users, which I'm really excited to check out as well. Eric Carbonnier from our Regenerative Design group spoke at it last year, so I've got some big shoes to fill, but I'm super excited to be able to do that. And it's in New York City, so even better. It's a fantastic venue for this event. All right, so that's it for this video. There's a couple things that I want you to keep an eye out for that are coming out really soon. The AIA LFRT, which is a large firm roundtable, is coming up in a couple of weeks in Portland, so I'll be flying there to meet with the other AIA large firms. And it's really great to get with them and talk about technology, what they're doing, what they're struggling with, what we're doing and what we're struggling with, and really get some great feedback. It's a great opportunity to share and learn. You probably saw my video from last time that I did this, but it was in Charleston. I'll link to that below, and you can check that out. And finally, the Digital Practice Roadshow is coming. I'm going to be traveling to our offices and giving a presentation on what we've accomplished and where we're headed, so keep an eye out for that. All right, so that's it for this Digital Practice update. Work smarter, not harder, and go get things done.